Welcome to your feature presentation.
Today, we're talking about Apple TV's new comedy, horror, mystery, thriller, Widow's Bay.
We're also going to talk about Obsession by Curry Baker. It's a great horror movie that we have not seen yet, but we're excited to see creatives back in Hollywood willing movies into existence.
We'll wrap up our nice conversation with some more talk about the Odyssey. Is the internet off base? Can people chill out? Are we capable of being relaxed about this movie, or is everyone going to be upset the whole time?
Elliot Page is Achilles. That's
I don't think so.
What do you want me to say?
Well, yeah.
Here we go. My all for you.
You are my queen.
What is that from?
Oh, Game of Thrones. You don't remember that?
What scene?
This is one of, it's Jon Snow would not shut up the last season of Game of Thrones. Every single time Dany would do or say anything, she'd be like, I just really want to make sure that, you're with me. And he'd go, you are my queen.
Yeah. Dude, and it's nice that was the only problem with the last season of Game of Thrones, too.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, there was no other issues with color grading, with the written story itself. A really poor excuse of, well, we're subverting expectations as a guise for we didn't know what the heck we were doing.
Yeah.
So cool.
Well, the hard part, too, is comparing it to season one. Even the later seasons, if they're not that good, but comparing the last season of Game of Thrones to the first season, it took them a couple episodes to get from Winterfell to King's Landing. And that's fun. That's interesting. There's rules. And then at the end, they were just like, wait, how is he here already? Where is that? Just we just skipped
dragons.
Just dragons. A ton of movies and stuff do this, but it was cool that Game of Thrones was actually taking its time. But
yeah, it was very grounded.
It was very grounded.
The first few seasons even, you're right, we're very grounded by a really good set of rules. Anyway, Heath, that's not even what the heck we're talking about today.
I don't even know what you got for me, but I got stuff. You want to go first?
I'm watching a new show. It's called Widow's Bay. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay. I accidentally bought Apple TV again, the subscription service. So we have it for a month, and I was just
I have seen this trailer. Yep. Okay, but I've not seen the episode.
Okay.
Yep.
So I was meandering through. I had seen the poster for it before on social media and maybe a clip of the trailer. I know Matthew Rice. I've seen him around before. He's from Invincible, which is probably the most recent thing that I've seen him in. But he was in Watchmen.
I'm invincible. I'm unstoppable.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what we're talking about, right?
He's also the dad from The Americans. Did you ever watch that show? Oh, communist sleeper cells in the United States, 1960s. Pretty cool. Anyway, so Rice is in Widow's Bay. The show is stellar. It's so fun, and I want you to close your eyes and imagine this. You have Jaws meets a weird Evil Dead and The Haunting of Hill House conglomeration.
Whoa.
Yeah, you can open your eyes now. It's okay.
No, I'm going to keep my eyes closed. I fall over.
Keep my eyes closed.
I somehow bump into a wall.
Yeah, so the aesthetic is essentially if the town from Jaws was modern day, and all of the cool, interesting lore really was extrapolated out, and every single person in Widow's Bay is an island that's completely ocean locked, and all of these people were totally and completely invested in their essentially haunted lore. Everyone in Widow's Bay is yeah, it kind of sucks here because everything is haunted, everything goes bad stuff happens here, but we can't leave. If we leave the island, then we'll die. If we step onto the mainland, if you're born on Widow's Bay, you die. That's one of the lore points.
Dang.
So everyone's stuck there. So anyway, this guy, Michael Rice's character, Tom Loftus, is an off-islander who becomes the mayor of this incredibly superstitious town, and he's trying to drum up uh, traffic for tourists so that the town won't shrivel up and die a painful death. And everyone is so against him because he's opening up haunted inns for people to stay in, and they're like, people are gonna die. He's like, no, this is all made up. It's such an interesting show. It's so mysterious. The Evil Dead aspect that I mentioned comes out in about episode 4, which is the most recent episode out at the time of recording. And there's some real cool stuff that happens. It's very interesting, very engaging. I recommend watching it. That is my current watch right now.
Dude, I just like looking up stuff and it says like it's horror comedy, folk horror, mystery thriller. And it's almost like it's like that New England horror, but it's like got some like cryptids in it. Like there's some curse
Yes.
stuff going
Yeah.
on. Like that sounds amazing.
Dude, they toe the line of horror comedy so well, which is another thing that reminds me of Evil Dead, where Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, they have moments where I like chuckle and I really laugh. I'm like, oh, that's ridiculous. And this show does that in the exact same way. In one moment, you're laughing because of the absurdity of something, and literally the camera will pan, and you as the viewer will gain more information, and you'll go, oh no, that is not funny. That's horrifying. And so the storytellers are really, really incredible, and I'm excited to watch the rest of the season. I think there's 10 episodes planned, and I've seen 4.
That's
and they're very
awesome.
highly rated. Almost every episode is 8.5 out of 10 or higher.
Wow. Dude, I need to watch this like ASAP. I also feel like that's the way to make good like horror comedy is like the horror actually has to be real. Like we can laugh at a moment's notice, but I just think of like my favorite, like Shaun of the Dead or Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Like those things are actually happening. People are actually dying.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like I feel like it's what I would do in a terrible life-threatening situation because I'm like, oh, we have to laugh about this because like there's something funny because this is so bad.
Yeah, it's like part of horror comedy is the coping mechanism that it can be so scary that you don't actually know what to do with it. And you're like, I kind of got to get out of here, please.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm in. Well, speaking of horror, I want to bring up a movie that I have not seen yet because once again, we have small children, we're restricted. I've seen The Mandalorian at this point. During the recording, I have not seen it, so I'm not going to say anything about it.
Okay.
We might do like a little after show, but that's going to be like if I can go to the movie once this month, it's going to be The Mandalorian. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Skeptical about the Mandalorian, but it's going to be a fun time regardless. So I want to talk about a movie though that I'm planning on seeing, haven't seen yet, but Obsession. Have you seen anything about this?
I've seen so much about it and I've not seen it yet.
Okay, so the director is Curry Baker, a YouTuber, another YouTuber who it's crazy because so many of these people are like, it's a YouTuber turned director. It's like he was a director the whole time. It was just with different stuff. So if you haven't seen, oh shoot, what's their comedy group name? But Curry Baker, look him on all social medias. He's got like this. They do a lot of skit comedy, and it really reminds me of like Key and Peele kind of stuff.
Or Tim Robinson.
Yes, definitely. And the production value of them is so high. They're like, I've seen interviews where he's just like, I didn't want to use iPhones. Like they're all like professional cameras, which is kind of funny because iPhones are kind of able to do that. They shoot movies on iPhones now. But anyways.
Yeah.
And so it's just cool to see once again another YouTuber like Markiplier go put on a full production and just basically kind of putting all of the things that we associate with movies, like big theater releases and stuff. This guy is so funny. You know, I love his skits so much. But when I saw the first interview that he was the director of this, it's a normal interview. He's like, yeah, when I made this movie, I really want to do this. Like, it's a normal interview. And I was like laughing because I thought it was a parody of he is like pretending to be the director for this movie. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, he's actually the director. And then I look back.
Oh, that was legit.
I was like, I don't know why. I don't know why I was laughing. He's just such a funny guy that I'm like, oh, he's being super dry. This is a bit.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's being honest.
It's just built in.
and he made an awesome movie, and it's got like great reviews, great following, and so I'm really excited to see that. But once again, just really pumped for someone who's like, I feel like we are seeing the renaissance of the artist take over. And like, dude,
Yeah.
this is okay. Here's the thing. Not saying these guys are at this level, but this is your George Lucas, your, your oh gosh, Godfather guy. You know the group I'm talking about. These guys who just willed their movies into existence. They weren't
Yeah.
Hollywood. They are just like, we're going for it. We're making it happen.
I mean,
Um,
we just talked about Evil Dead. Sam Raimi is a great
yeah,
example of that.
same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. And even Edgar Wright with Shaun of the Dead and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, which they all kind of get inspired by different people. But these are, once again, we're seeing another thing of like people like YouTubers who have the video and editing knowledge, and they're getting crazy amounts of views and hits and making money from this stuff. And they're like, I'm going to make a full movie, like a
Feature film. Yeah.
feature film, put it in theaters, and it's awesome. A lot of it's like self-funded because they have such a fan base that people are like, I'll give you money to do this, and they just go for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm really excited with how this is happening, and I think this is great stuff.
Dude, I have seen the restaurant scene. It's about 30-ish seconds on TikTok where the actress shifts really well from really excited and happy to be there with him to no, no, and stands up, and he's like, no,
Yeah.
no, no, please don't do that.
Yeah.
And just so good. I'm very excited to see it. And the sketch comedy channel, I think, is That's a Bad Idea. Also
Yes.
hilarious.
That's it.
I've seen a few things since Obsession has gotten traction. I've seen some of his sketches, and yeah, he's right up there, like with Tim Robinson level of comedy. Is very, very funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting that horror and comedy are so clearly linked. And like Jordan Peele says that, and he was like,
Yeah.
if you can make people laugh, you can make them terrified. And I think there's engaging someone, and I think that's something so cool that comedy and horror do is we don't look at it and say, "Oh, that was a beautiful film. That was great." Like it actually engages your emotions. And I think that's hard to do. Like I don't expect The
Yeah.
Mandalorian to engage my emotions. Hopefully, I'll be excited like a 7-year-old who wants to be a bounty hunter. But like the idea of actually pulling you in and making you feel things as a director and
Mhm.
writer, that's really cool. That's powerful.
It takes so much to elicit a genuine big emotion out of a viewer, whether you're in a movie theater or you're watching at home. I think you're right that The Mandalorian and Grogu and movies like it are not going to pull big emotions out of us. I think at best, we will sit there and smile. Just, cool. But horror movies, comedy movies gain so much traction when they're done really well because you just can't help it. Like, you can't help but be scared. And you go see a horror movie and you're like, guys, that was the most frightening thing I've ever seen. And my reaction was something that they made me feel. It wasn't up to me. And the same is true for comedy, which is why I feel like those are connected. But I think of Mall Shadow Lord as well.
Yeah.
A show that should just be really, really cool and just put a smile on my face to see more stuff about Darth Maul. But it's so beautiful. The art in it, the paintings to set the scene, all the backdrops, everything is so beautiful. It pulls positive emotion out of me. And I'm like, this is humanity. These are people who are passionate about an IP that I love so much. And they're just dumping so much work into it that I can tell. And spoilers, have you seen the end of Shadow Lord?
Yes.
You have. Okay. So spoilers for the end of Shadow Lord. I screamed in that last sequence where the Mandalorian, she gets dragged into the fog and dies, and then you hear Darth Vader's breath. I literally yelled, and my wife was like, what is happening? I was like, it's Darth Vader, it's Darth Vader, it's Darth Vader. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, it's Darth Vader. And then he walks through the mist, and she was like, what are you doing right now? I was like, it's Darth Vader, I can't help it. And he is a character that does that.
Yeah.
Darth Vader is the Star Wars big emotion like
Yeah.
guy. Every time they pull the Darth Vader card, he's doing just the most incredible things. And everyone's freaking out. Everyone's screaming the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, he shows up in cartoons, you're like, main characters are gonna die.
Dude, everyone's toast. But also, I love that he doesn't speak very much. Like, he didn't talk at all in Shadow Lord.
Yeah.
Not a single line of dialogue. But I love that even in video games, when he shows up in Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, would he show up in both of those? Whichever one he showed up in, that he was still incredibly quiet and there wasn't a lot of dialogue there. So menacing. I love that.
Dude. Yeah, and yeah, watching Vader fight Maul is still gonna be my Star Wars high for the year. Like, it was so good. That show is so good. Check it out if you haven't. I do love the meme though, because this is the first time we've seen Darth Vader fight Darth Maul. And, and like the Darth Vader swinging at him and being like, "You tried to run me over as a kid."
So funny.
Which that's one of my favorite episode 1 memes is because Darth Maul almost clips Anakin and like Qui-Gon has to go, "Anakin, drop!" And Anakin has to like jump down to the dirt. Maul would have run right over him. But the plot is Maul has no idea who this kid is. He was just going to run over a 10-year-old for the love of the game.
Yeah. Yes. Just on my way to get the Jedi, might as well kill this kid too. And you know what? His life would be better off if he had killed that kid. So
it's very true. The galaxy might have been, but he did bring balance to the Force.
I would like to bring up the Odyssey one more time. Okay. There's been genuinely very good discussion on the Odyssey and the reaction to the trailers that I've seen in the last week or so. And this is very impressive to me, to be honest, that a lot of people, maybe it's just my friends, maybe it's just the friends that we have on TikTok that follow us and we follow them. Maybe we're just like-minded, but I see so many people who are trying to remind the masses that the Odyssey and a lot of stories like it, the Odyssey is mythological, that it's fantastical, and this is something we mentioned last week as well, but the mythology does not have a genuine North Star. This is what people have to look like. This is what the armor has to look like. This is how people have to talk. Because the Odyssey has been such a repeated and adapted story throughout literally thousands of years for so long. And I thought that was just a really helpful reminder that I can get thrown off by Robert Pattinson saying, "You're just waiting for your daddy." That can throw me off a little bit, but I don't have to get caught up in that because if the heart of the Odyssey, the core themes are the same, then all we're doing is what people have done for millennia, for thousands of years. We're telling the old story.
Been extinct for a millennia.
Also, how many years are in a millennia? Is it 1,000 years?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, then I'll use it confidently.
For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi were the guardians of peace and justice in the galaxy. Till the dark
We've not seen a Sith in 1,000 years.
A Sith Lord? Dude,
what do you think about that? Or do you think there is
real
a
quick,
North Star?
I'm with you. But real quick, on Ninjas Are Butterflies, they quoted, "He's a political idealist, not a murderer." And they didn't know what it was from for a second. And I've never been like, "It's Star Wars, it's Star Wars."
You try to call in.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I think it's just hard. I still feel like there's some hesitancy with what I'm seeing. But I agree with you. I don't care what they look like at all. That does not bother me. I never understood that it's not historically accurate. Like, look up what they were supposed to look like in 300. Look up what they were supposed to look like, all these epic battles, they look cool. I don't really care that much, to be honest. That's such a weird hill to die on, especially if they look cool. Now, I like the Rings of Power for what it is. Arrow comes out of nowhere. Think but it would, like, to me, when people critique how Numenor looks, the Numenorian armor, I get it. I'm okay with it, but I'm like, okay, I get the complaint. But the Nolan, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, they look good. So it's
They
like we
do
can
look good.
quabble about like, oh, the authenticity, but like, dude, it looks awesome. Also, people keep dragging up Agamemnon, and I'm like, he should be in like at most 25% of the movie, especially in that armor. Like, why are we harping on Agamemnon so much?
But also, it looks so cool.
Yeah. And
He looks incredible.
you know me, I've complained about it too, but I keep coming back to, yes, this is an epic story, and I loved the scene I saw in IMAX. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, the trailer really did not feel good to me. And every trailer is showing Agamemnon where he's like, his back is there. You can see the gold spine helmet, and then he whips around. But it's like the guy who edited the trailer really liked that scene. Maybe Nolan did it, but sometimes they're restrained by like that shot was finished and it looks epic, and then
Yeah.
people are kind of on board. You don't know how important it is. So yeah, I feel you. I'm on board.
All
Um,
right.
real quick, I do want to, as we wrap up, bring up the Elliot Page of it all.
Yeah. Okay. This is an interesting topic.
So I'll just say, because we're tiptoeing, right? We're sneaking in the room.
Yeah. Sure.
I just want to say that there is no confirmation whatsoever who they're playing, but it is a thing on the internet that Elliot Page is playing Achilles. So it's just like everyone is just comparing Brad Pitt to Elliot Page, and
Oh.
it's just, I don't know. I just think it's one of those things like, dude, some random guy somewhere said Elliot Page is playing Achilles, and then everyone ran with it. Um, if it's true, we can talk about it then, but I do wanna say, like, it's so crazy how these rumors start, because 'cause I've seen nothing official, nothing looks like any confirmation to what Elliot Page is playing. Like, there is nothing about that, and, they were in Inception, so it's like they've worked with Nolan before too, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what that happens. Um,
So yeah, you're absolutely right that some troll on the internet was like, Elliot Page is going to play Achilles, which I don't think would make sense. And I don't know. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of Elliot Page's work. I don't think that they would go for that role. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Doesn't seem like something that they'd be into. So I would be surprised. I'd be shocked, not because of like the casting choice, but because that they would go for that. Um, the first rumor that I heard was that Elliot would play Hermes, and I was like, okay, sure, that's cool. I, to be honest, don't remember like the majority of the Hermes interactions in the Odyssey. So I was like, sure, that's whatever. Seems very Nolan to get like a well-known person
Well,
into
yeah, they
the
wanted, they
universe.
want RDJ to play Poseidon. Like, I think all the gods show up
Oh
at
yeah,
one
yeah,
point to mess with Odysseus. So that's kinda part
right.
of the thing, yeah.
Yeah, and so my first interaction with Elliot Page being in the movie was that they would play Hermes. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it'll just be a couple scenes, an interaction with Odysseus. That'll be fun to see them in the movie. Um, this and then I saw all of the Achilles stuff, and I was like, no, I don't think so. But recently, it seems more likely, and this is a theory that I would, I guess, get on the wagon with, is that Elliot Page plays that drunk sailor that's part of Odysseus' crew that dies, and he encounters his ghost in
Oh,
the afterlife, essentially. Like, I'll have to look it up, but that is Elpenor. Um, that seems like more that person's speed, like literally. Uh, the youngest and least significant member of Odysseus' crew, known for getting drunk and falling off a roof to his death. And then he interacts with Odysseus. I was like, sure, whatever. It'd be so funny in my brain. No hate to Elliot Page. It'd be so funny if they signed on for this movie and all they're doing is that
yeah,
and they're in 20 minutes of it and everyone is making such a huge
yeah.
fuss about them being in the movie. Because ultimately, I think that's what it comes down to, is that some people were just upset that there's a transgender person in a major movie and that makes them uncomfortable. And it's like, what if you just got over that and your whole life wasn't changed and affected by someone being in a movie?
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be a role. Who knows how big it is, but it also was funny. There's, like, the skit of, like, the person who says they're an actor, and they just, like, play, like, a dead body, under the sheet, and something like that. So it's like, let's just see what role we're even talking about first, but
Yeah, literally. Rage bait galore all over the internet.
alright, we're gonna wrap up today's episode. Andrew, I will have lots to say about The Mandalorian next episode, so be ready. Are you planning on seeing it at all?
I'm going to be so ready. I think it'll be a few weeks before I see it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. As always, find us on social medias, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe, follow along with us there. Share the show with your friends. It helps us grow. And engage with us on those platforms. We love to interact and answer questions and dive into new topics. Heath, ladies and gentlemen, at home, in here, out there, all the ships at sea, go see a movie.
Go see a movie.